Hey everyone, welcome back to Sthirvana. I'm Udit. Today, I want to talk to you about something that affects a lot of people in this world, including the people closest to me: anxiety. Anxiety is a normal and natural emotion that most of us experience from time to time when we are faced with challenging or stressful situations. However, for some people, anxiety can become overwhelming, excessive, or irrational and start to interfere with their day to day function as well as quality of life. It is one of the most common mental health problems, and according to the World Health Organization, more than 260 million people suffer from it across the globe. Now, this number can actually be higher due to being underreported or the stigma associated with it. Anxiety can take different forms, such as generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, phobias, obsessive compulsive disorder, and post traumatic stress disorder. For each of these, the features and causes may differ. However, they share one commonality, that is, experiencing an intense fear or nervousness that is generally not in proportion to the actual threat or danger. Sometimes this fear or nervousness can become so intense and sudden that it causes physical and psychological distress, and it is known as panic attacks or anxiety attacks. They're frightening and debilitating, and they can be caused unexpectedly or due to some other trigger. Before we dive deeper into anxiety, though, I do want to highlight that I am not a mental health professional, and this video is not a substitute for professional therapy or medical advice. If you are suffering from anxiety or other mental health issues, please seek out a professional for help and guidance. This video is just to talk about anxiety, create awareness about it, and in the end, help remove any stigma that is associated with it. Coming back to anxiety then. So how do you figure that you're having an anxiety attack? Well, unfortunately, there is no definitive answer here because different people experience different symptoms and severity of those symptoms. However, the following are somewhat of a list that is associated with an anxiety attack. Firstly, palpitations, accelerated heart rate or heart pounding. Second, sweating, trembling, or shaking. Third, shortness of breath, chest pains or tightness. Fourth, nausea, abdominal distress or vomiting. Fifth, dizziness, lightheadedness or fainting. Sixth, hot flashes, chills or tingling sensations. Seventh, fear of losing control or dying. Eighth, feeling detached from oneself or the reality. And finally, feeling numb, helpless, or hopeless. These symptoms can last from a few minutes to a few hours, and their severity and frequency might differ. For some people, they might have one or a few attacks in their entire lifetime. However, for other people, it's recurrent and chronic to a certain level that it impairs their well-being and functioning of their daily lives. So if you're having a panic attack or you think you're having one of the most important things to do is to try and calm yourself down and remind yourself that you're not in danger and that this moment will pass. Now, this is easier said than done, so here are some strategies to help you cope with the anxiety in the given moment. The first one is to breathe deeply and slowly. One of the most effective ways to reduce anxiety is to regulate your breath. When you're anxious, your breathing tends to be shallow, rapid, and irregular, which makes the symptoms worse and makes you feel more panicked. To counter this, breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 2 seconds, and release your breath for 6 seconds through your mouth. Repeat this cycle till you're more calm, you're more relaxed, and you feel more in control. You can also use some app or a video to help you through this process. The second strategy is to practice mindfulness or focusing on the present. By grounding yourself in the present and not dwelling in the past or worrying about the future, it can help you cope with anxiety. This can be achieved by using your senses to observe what is going on around you. For example, the sounds, the sights, the smells, the tastes, and the textures. For example, you could observe the color and the shapes of the objects around you. You could listen to the noise or the music in the background. You could smell the fragrance of a flower or a candle. You can taste a candy or a sip of water. And finally, you can touch something that is soft or hard. All this can also be achieved by something called a grounding object. For example, carry with yourself a smooth stone, and whenever you're anxious, take out the stone and feel the texture, feel the weight, feel the temperature of that object. By doing all of this, it can help you distract yourself from the negative emotions and thoughts and help you connect to reality again. The third strategy is to challenge your thoughts. One of the biggest sources of anxiety is that how we think about ourselves, others, and the world. When we're anxious, we tend to have thoughts that are distorted, irrational, and catastrophic, amplifying our fears and making us feel worse. For example, we might think that we're about to die, that we're worthless, that everybody is judging us, or that something terrible is about to happen. To overcome these thoughts, it is important that we challenge them and replace them with thoughts that are more realistic, rational, and positive. For example, we can ask ourselves these questions, such as, is this thought based in fact or feeling? What is the evidence for or against this thought? What is the worst outcome possible, and how likely is it? What is the best outcome possible, and how can I make that happen? What is the most realistic outcome, and how will I cope with that? By doing this, we can reduce the impact and intensity of these negative thoughts and increase our optimism and confidence along with that. The fourth strategy is to seek support. Sometimes the best way to deal with anxiety is to reach out to someone to help us out. This could be a friend, a family member, a mentor, a colleague, or anyone else that would listen to us, comfort us, and reassure us. Talking to someone can help us vent our feelings, gain a different perspective, and make us feel less alone or isolated. However, it's important that you choose someone who is trustworthy, understanding, and supportive, and will not judge us, criticize us, or invalidate us. If you don't have someone like that in your life, you can also seek professional help from a therapist, a counselor, or doctor, or a helpline. These are trained and qualified people who can help cope with anxiety in a safe and effective manner. Those were some strategies to help cope with anxiety in the given moment. However, that is not the main point I'm trying to bring across in this video. Coping with anxiety in a moment does not help us with coping with anxiety in the long run. We cannot just ignore or suppress anxiety because it will come back stronger. We have to work on anxiety all the time because the fight is not one within the ring, it is one outside of it. What that means is we need to have a more proactive and preventative approach to anxiety rather than a reactive and curative one. So let's talk about some strategies to work on anxiety in the long run and help ourselves achieve Sthirvana. So the first step I would emphasize on this journey towards managing anxiety would be to identify your triggers. It is important to identify what causes the anxiety and what worsens it. These triggers could be external, such as situations, places, people, events, or internal, such as feelings, thoughts, memories, or beliefs. Once you've identified the triggers, you can plan to prepare for them or build strategies without pressure in order to overcome them. There's also the option of avoiding them, but that would limit your opportunities and experiences, and I would caution against that strategy for it to only be the last or a temporary resort. My second suggestion on the steps to helping reduce anxiety is to practice relaxation techniques. Relaxation techniques are methods that help your mind and body become calmer and reduce the effect of stress and anxiety. Some of the common examples of relaxation techniques include meditation, yoga, progressive muscle relaxation, etc. You can learn them through books, through apps, through videos, or classes, and practice them at home, at your work, or anywhere else. You might have noticed that I have a few videos myself on some of these topics. By doing relaxation techniques, you can reduce your blood pressure, your breathing rate, your heart rate, your muscle tension, and your cortisol levels. At the same time, increase your endorphins, your serotonin, and your dopamine, which are hormones that make you feel good and happy. My next suggestion is something that we've talked about multiple times on this channel now, and that is to exercise regularly. Exercise is one of the best ways to improve your mental and physical health, because exercise has numerous benefits for both the mind and body. Some of the benefits include improvement in your cardiovascular, muscular, respiratory, and immune systems, elevation of your mood and your energy, reduction in your weight, inflammation, and the risk of chronic diseases, and it does all that while boosting your self-esteem and your self-confidence. Exercise also helps to release the hormones I talked about, namely dopamine, endorphins, and serotonin, which make you feel good and happy. Finally, exercise provides a distraction, a challenge, a sense of achievement, and a social outlet, all of which help in dealing with anxiety in the long run. A related suggestion to help reduce anxiety is to eat healthy, preferably a balanced and nutritious diet that is in line with your needs and your preferences. Eating healthy helps to improve physical and mental health by providing the body essential nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that are needed by the mind and body to function properly and optimally. My final suggestion here is to have positive talks and reinforcements with yourself every day, whether that's through journaling or through standalone thoughts. Make a list of things that are great about you. Remind yourself of these every day, especially when you're experiencing anxiety. Reassure yourself that if there are so many great qualities about you, when you're experiencing anxiety, it does not change that fact. Remember, managing anxiety is an ongoing process that requires commitment and practice. Don't wait until you're in the fight to implement these strategies. It's the training outside the ring that prepares you for the challenges inside. Consistency is key, both for anxiety as well as for achieving Sthirvana. We are in this together, and together we will master our best lives. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anybody you think might benefit. As always, subscribe to the channel for similar content, and thanks for tuning in. Until next time, take care, be present, and work towards Sthirvana.